Yo, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Ben Shapiro. You've probably heard of his sister's breasts. She's a famous Oprah singer. I've never heard her sing, but I would like to touch her breasts. Um, he's arguing, this Ben Shapiro fella, who recently claimed to be 5'9", and who's mostly famous for having a doctor wife, a doctor for a wife. He's arguing that healthcare is not a right. Let's hear his argument.
You said that if you had to go find a cheap X-ray or a cheap
God, his
armchair,
face is
you would
so.
go to find an armchair.
If your life depended on, you have to find a chair today and buy it now.
Yes.
Versus you have to find an X-ray and buy it now. You would buy the armchair, yes.
Yeah. So my question is,
No, you buy an
what
X-ray.
allows you to find
What
a cheap
X-ray?
armchair
X-ray is
that
more
there's
expensive
such
than a
difference
chair.
in quality.
Yeah.
You know, you can go and buy a chair that's $5, probably going to break soon.
Yep.
But so with healthcare,
Which I said in the piece, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
So with
Pete,
healthcare,
whoa,
if
pause,
it's
pause,
something
pause.
You don't,
You didn't write a piece. You're not a writer, dude. I've read your writing. You're not a writer. You didn't write a piece. Your sister, though, is a piece of ass.
you don't really want to go like some guy who's offering a $5 X-ray and say, "Hey, you want an X-ray?" You know.
Why?
So,
You don't want to ask a guy who's charging $5 for an X-ray and get an X-ray, and then he goes, "Why?" Boom, done, dude. Within arguments over within 36 seconds. Ben Shapiro doesn't understand why you would want the best quality health care available. He doesn't get that. That's not even something that you need to explain.
because if your life depended on it, I don't think that it would be a situation where you'd be willing to risk the.
So let me ask you this: why should an X-ray cost $200, $1,000 through an insurance company? It's literally a machine. An X-ray technician takes a picture of it and then sends it to a radiologist who actually looks at it.
Because health insurance companies are for profit. Because we have a free market healthcare system, and we're the only country that has a free market healthcare system. My question, the more important question is, why shouldn't I get to suckle on your sister's breasts? Why shouldn't I be allowed to take each of those perfect, fleshy, fucking hot milk globes and squeeze them together so that the nipples are touching and then suck on both nipples at the same time? Why not? This is America.
Well,
Right. Or a doctor looks at it.
So I don't know enough about the healthcare industry.
His wife is a doctor.
The reason I'm saying this is because what I'm saying is that one of the reasons these things are so much more expensive and so much less competitive is because you do not actually have a free market in healthcare.
Actually, we do have a free market in healthcare. Health insurance companies compete all the time. None of them, however, can compete with the government, which has the best outcomes for the lowest prices available in America. It's one of the most popular programs in America. I had a dream about his sister and me on the Titanic. And I often have Titanic dreams. Not large dreams, but dreams in which I'm on the Titanic. And I think it's because a lot of people say I look like Leonardo DiCaprio. A lot of people say I'm Leonardo DiCaprio if Leonardo DiCaprio had failed. So the dream might mean something else. But anyways, the point is, I'm at the front of the ship. Abigail Shapiro is there. She has her shirt off, and she's holding me from behind, and I could feel her big sugar cookie nipples like harden on my back. And I yell. I look down at my erect penis, which is substantial in the dream, and I yell, "I'm the king of the world!"
Heavily regulated market in healthcare. If you want cheap X-rays, you have to have a competition in the X-ray business.
You want to have a competition in the X-ray business, so the cheaper the doctor, the cheaper the healthcare. The only way we could get more deregulated is if you have car mechanics doing brain surgery. I think that's what he's arguing, that incompetent people, because I'm sure he's against tort reform, that incompetent people, like, well, this heart surgeon's blind, so you can get him for $10. I think that's what he's arguing.
There is no competition in the X-ray business. You can't go and look up a list of
As far as free market healthcare goes, this is the only country that has free market healthcare.
X-ray companies that are going to give you an X-ray today and then call them for the lowest price. In fact, if you go into the doctor right now and you say, I want you to take a look at this X-ray, how much will it cost me? The doctor will tell you, I can't give you that answer. Right? The doctor will tell
That's
you,
irrelevant.
I'm going to have to talk to your insurance company, or maybe I'm going to have to run it through my system, and then I'll get back to you. Is there any other product in America?
The question
where
is
you
whether
go
or
to
not
a
it's a
restaurant and
right.
say, how much is that cup of coffee? They said, drink the cup of coffee, we'll tell you later. Right? It's not.
It's funny if you should say that, because a waiter would be the perfect symbol for this. This is like the buffet at like Golden Corral, where they bring you plates and shit, and then you have to tip them. Like the health insurance company. Like, I got to give a health insurance company money for no reason. Well, I have to tip the lady for no real, or the waiter for no real reason, mostly because they're poor. But okay.
Free market. The point that I was making with the armchair comparison is not, of course, that armchairs are morally equivalent to healthcare, obviously.
That is the point he was making. I happen to have the tweet. I will read it for you. Let's see. I wrote it down. Oh, no, wait. That's the constitutional provision that says that healthcare is a right. It says right to life, liberty, and the security of the person, and the right not to be deprived thereof. Bernie Sanders was saying that in response to a Sanders tweet, Sanders said, it was insane that a person should skip a procedure because it's cheaper. That's crazy. Called it crazy. And then Ben's tweet is, I go to a fancy furniture store to check out a piece of furniture. Can't afford it. That's totally crazy. So, yes, actually, he compared healthcare to furniture. And he also, which means, he's comparing human life to furniture. And I'm not comparing his sister to furniture, by the way. She is fully, clearly human from what I've seen. And, I guess you could call her an angel. Perhaps a unicorn. But she's definitely human.
Obviously, people need healthcare more. Okay? Perhaps a better comparison would have been bread.
Dude, her breasts are what it means to be human.
Right? Because people need bread.
Not only do they give life, but they make life worth living.
Okay, but the reason that bread is cheap is because there's a free market in bread, not because government is subsidizing bread. So the point that I was making is if you actually want to increase supply...
I would take that bread and make an Abigail sandwich. Again, I'm not comparing her to meat. She is purely human.
The point I was making in that column, and overall about this, is that healthcare is not a right. Healthcare is a commodity. And the difference in...
Okay, first of all... Okay, you're pro-life, dude. If you're pro-life, then you should be then healthcare should be a right in your mind. There's no way around that hypocrisy. That's such an obvious glaring contradiction that I don't even need to point it out. Either you're pro-life or you're not pro-life. That's number one. Fetuses, by the way, aren't even human. Not yet. And by the way, because of climate change, I'm going to have to, we're going to have some serious conversation, your sister and me, about whether or not we're going to have children. And she can blame you for that, Mr. Climate Change Denier. One thing I'm going to ask for is more liberalism or actually not even liberalism, radicalism in the bedroom, which I believe in. So you want to have kids with me, Abby? If we're going to have children, I'm going to tell you, before, during, and after that pregnancy, every orifice between the two of us is going to be filled and explored. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. So yeah, by the way, healthcare is a service, not a commodity. Commodity's like a potato.
Between those two views, that if you think
You're a
healthcare
fucking
is right,
idiot.
now you're going to use the government to cram down on doctors that they must serve you at a particular price.
No. You're not arguing about whether or not healthcare is a right. I just read you the provision in the Constitution that says that it's a right. Also, you yourself says that fetuses have rights, to have the right to live. So you argued against yourself badly, but you argued against yourself. The effect of socialized medicine, or the imaginary effects that you're making up, that has nothing to do with whether or not healthcare is a right. The repercussions, I mean, we have overpopulation. So if you start saying human life, so if you start saying fetuses are alive, then we're going to be overpopulated and blah, 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 blah. It doesn't change the fact that you believe that fetuses...
Or cram down on taxpayers that they have to
Get my
pay for a
point?
certain level of your care, or cram down on insurance companies that they can't be insurance companies anymore. They have to be health coverage institutes,
By the way, all that stuff sounds great.
essentially. Which is when they say you have to accept pre-existing conditions, it's not an insurance company anymore. If you have
Now he's arguing. Homeboy is now arguing for death panels. Sweetheart. Abby, I don't know if I can go to Thanksgiving with this guy. Seriously, you are really gonna have to fucking step it up in the bedroom if I gotta put up with this fucking piece of shit while I'm trying to eat fucking yams.
fire insurance company and they said you have to accept pre-existing conditions, it would
By yams, I don't mean your breasts, I mean actual yams.
just be called the piggy bank. Right? You'd burn down your house and then go get fire insurance. So that's it. Insurance companies don't work that way. So the point I was making is if you view it as a commodity, you're going to end up making it cheaper, more plentiful.
If you view it as a, so you're choosing to view, you're choosing to view something. So then why can't someone choose to view a fetus as a fetus? Are you choosing to, see what I mean? Why is he choosing to view things this way? Well, it could be because, well, he chooses to view fetuses as human lives because he knows that abortion perpetuates poverty. He wants to institutionalize poverty. He wants to require people to work 5 fucking jobs. And why do they stick to these jobs that they hate? Well, because it's the only way they can get health insurance for their kids. That's his agenda. Because none of this makes any fucking sense. He just admitted that he's choosing to view this life as valuable and this life is not valuable. So how do you explain that inconsistency? These motherfuckers want to make us slaves.
More available, more competition. And the case in point of this is
And none of that's true. None of that's true. Absolutely. I mean, otherwise other countries would be doing it.
Surgery, which is really unregulated. So LASIK eye surgery used to cost like $20,000 an eye. Now it costs $4,000 an eye.
My phone used to cost $500. Now it's cost like $5.
The reason for that is because insurance companies won't cover it, and because there's a competitive market. Because it's really expensive, right? So lots of doctors now want to be optometrists or ophthalmologists and do the...
No, doctors want to be ophthalmologists because they have a fascination with eyeballs. You want to have more doctors. What you do is you make school easier to get into. There's tons of talented geniuses that can't fucking be doctors because they just can't afford school. Because of people like you.
This is why my wife's a doctor, so I'm very passionate about this particular topic.
By the way, did he mention that his wife is a doctor? Did he mention that his sister is a fucking angel with giant fleshy milk globes?
Yeah, they call it the road.
Oh, and an opera singer.
Is the successful.
By the way, Abigail, I do respect your artistry. That's part of why I like you. Is because you are an artist.
Doctors, radiologists,
as well as a work of art. And yes, I am objectifying you, but in a fun, sexy way.
Ophthalmologists, anesthesiologists, dermatologists, all those people basically charge cash and don't work through insurance companies. Right? The vast majority of them work in high-level private industry, and that's, if you want to make a lot of money, that's what you do. And so what you're getting is, in medical schools, if you're aiming for lots of money, you go into one of those 4. You're not a primary care physician. You're
People don't get into healthcare for money, stupid.
One of those 4. If you want more primary care physicians, what should you do? You should incentivize it. What Bernie Sanders and the rest of this crew want to do, they declare...
The rest of his crew, what if fucking Bernie Sanders, like, in a breakdance? Is it like a fucking breakdancer or something? Oh, check it out. We got the Red Marks crew. And we're gonna take it to the streets. Me and you, Shapiro.
...a right, and then they take away the incentive. They declare it a right for you to have health care, and then they say to the doctor, you're going to work, and you're going to like it, and we're going to make you work.
Project much? No. Actually, doctors can choose not to be doctors. They can do something else. You want to make us work, whether we like it or not, because you want to incentivize us. into becoming your fucking slaves. God, he looks like he smells so bad.
And this is why there's a black market in healthcare in Canada, there's a black market in Israel, there's a black market in the UK. It's why people come here from...
That's a myth. But however, we do have a black market here. Black market is when your friend yanks your fucking tooth out for you because you can't afford a dentist. Black market is when you get a pain in your back and you fucking start scoring fucking heroin.
all of those places to get their surgeries. So here's the reality about socialized healthcare.
Here's the reality. Rand Paul went up to Canada for surgery. They have the best heart surgeons in the world are in Canada. Why are they choosing to stay in Canada if the profit motive is down here?
So socialized healthcare.
I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to bet, by the way, that doctors in socialized medicine countries, I'll bet you they get paid just as much. How much do you think Abigail Shapiro would get paid to make a porn movie? Like, how much do you think Abigail Shapiro would get paid to have sex with a black guy in front of Ben Shapiro? Now, by the way, I only say black guy, not as a way to fetishize black people. I don't do that. However, I do want to see him getting owned by the BBC a second time.
Is good for very, very basic things, right? It's like emergency care. The same way if you walk into an emergency room today and you need an x-ray, they'll give it to you regardless of whether you have insurance, which is true. This is why in California you have a major problem with illegal immigrants who don't actually have health care coverage.
That's not a problem.
And to the ER and using it as their health care coverage.
Why is that a problem?
Basically, socialized medicine works the same way, except there is no upper echelon.
There's no upper echelon at all in socialism, stupid. That's the point of socialism, because morons like you are rich and you haven't done anything to earn it. In fact, your presence is a burden to society, as opposed to your sister, who has done nothing but make the world a more beautiful place.
They've made it equal at the expense of the upper echelon. Meaning,
yes, at your expense, at your dumb,
you
stupid expense.
Surgery,
you are expensive.
Online for it because we didn't give any incentive for people to become surgeons. Right? There's no cost-benefit analysis there. If you want more of something, you have to incentivize that thing.
Dude, if you want to be a doctor, you need to have passion. That's why it takes over 8 years, 12 years. I mean, it's nothing but constant fucking school. Do you think that you're fucking sitting there at a fucking table learning about the endocrine system because you want to fucking be rich? Dude, that's why you get into fucking... That's why you go to Wall Street. You don't even know shit to do that shit. All you gotta do is invest in water and guns, and you'll be rich.
And when you take away the market, there's no incentive anymore. That's the answer as to why... That's the very long answer as to why I say healthcare is more like a chair than it is like the air or water.
Because you view human beings as pieces of furnture. You're a scumbag.
Somebody has to provide it to you.
You're a psychopath.